My name is Nori Shabane, VP of Business Development at Yseop. And it's Yseop. It's not exactly phonetic, I know. The company is headquartered in Paris, and Yseop is the French word for poetry, but backwards. So past branding decisions aside, we all know about the incredibly successful companies that have begun to bridge the gap between data and human understanding. Visualizations are an incredibly efficient way to consume information. They take what can be mind-numbing and point out a trend. But what does it mean? Is the trend severe, moderately severe, approaching moderate severity? And so what should we do? Do we react severely, moderately severely, and so on? 5 people can come away from the same chart with 5 different conclusions. Add in a few more charts, and you can see the problem. The next step forward in the maturation of how we understand big data is natural language generation, NLG. NLG takes data and provides a narrative that a human might write. You might be familiar with the space. For the last 10 years, my company has been writing investment research, helping financial controls, writing compliance reports, and even accelerating the time to filing for pharmaceutical companies. Teams are freed up to spend time on a higher level analysis as opposed to digging through different data sources and just recounting what happened. In a P&L analysis, Yseop, once it's connected to the data source and set up, will instantly tell you which countries contributed more to sales growth, which product line lagged and caused you to miss plan. Now, this isn't a brand new space. As I said, Yseop's been doing this for years, but I'm here to talk about an innovation in NLG that makes the technology flexible, highly scalable, and less reliant on large implementation projects. Today, we're announcing Yseop's new augmented analyst product using our intention framework. The intention-based approach actually comes from years of meetings gone awry. So here's the scene. We're sitting with a client. We're doing a deep dive into a new use case, and the client is trying to wordsmith the narrative to a degree that really isn't helpful. Over and over, we kept coming back to the same basic question. What is your intention? What do you intend to write here? Eventually, we recognized the pattern. Underlying everything we were being asked to write were the same component pieces. The first is an intention, like describe variation. Think of these like mathematical operators, plus, minus, multiply, and divide. The second is a KPI or a measure. And the third might be a dimension like geography or operating segment. So we have an intention like describe variation, a measure like revenue, and a dimension like EMEA. Describe the revenue variation in EMEA. This is the intention framework and what underpins our NLG. It can show drivers, it can show offsets, and it can be configured to very specific requirements. In finance today, we have 12 intentions. They cover all of our client work. We'll likely end up with a few more, but there are a finite number of them. These are the building blocks that are there for you. Most of the work is done. All you need to do is connect to the data source, select the component pieces for your narrative, and of course you have full control over the text styling. These are light touch implementations that produce robust narratives at scale. So I have a simple sample demo, and we're going to simulate a P&L analysis. So you might have forecasted numbers, you might have actuals, and if the variance is over a threshold of significance, you have to report on it. What happened? What were the drivers there? So we have some data on the left, and on the right we have some examples of these intentions. Now this is normally embedded into the data systems, but we expose some of the buttons here, and I'll click on an intention, I'll click on a measure, and the 2 time points. And what you'll see is a very, very simple narrative. Now we can combine these and add layers of sophistication, and the next one is just a little more advanced. Describe the variation, but this time with contributors. So where in a massive data set did this change come from? So you see there, and if I scroll down, you would see those were the drivers for the change. So the idea is, again, to get rid of a laborious process, which is parsing through data, trying to pull out information, and we want to redirect people towards higher level analysis. What we didn't show you, though, is the data integration. So we accept CSV Excel, we work with relational databases and OLAP cubes, and we prefer to build a REST API to your database. So there are myriad applications for this technology, and we've really only scratched the surface. Yseop's Augmented Analyst was built with the demanding needs of financial institutions in mind. So while the way we implement is simple and elegant, under the hood, we're able to connect to multiple data sources at once. We can perform calculations. We support 7 languages natively, which is to say we don't just translate from English. We've actually built the syntax from the ground up. And so as I've shown you, we're easing the amount of work it takes to get these projects off the ground. So for those of you that have automation plans or have to meet operational efficiency goals, we are humbly here to help. Thank you very much.